Okay, hello everybody. Today's date is October 29th, 2021, and my name is Leslie Williams. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the targeting of me through organized stalking, gang stalking crimes, which I've been openly enduring now since mid-2003. I started noticing very peculiar things in mid-2002. So between mid-2002 and mid-2003, it was in full-blown criminal expedition concerning what was being forced and affected upon my life in Michigan. Now, there's no way that any human being can explain 18 full years, okay, of non-stop targeting in 4 states in a 33-minute long video. And that's not really even the purpose of this video, is to educate you about what I've endured through this crime for 18 full years. You should also notate I and many of my other fellow gang stalking victims have openly stated that once their targeting starts, which usually means once the community-based gang stalking starts, because there's so much connected to this crime, massive amounts of crimes can be perpetrated through this crime, and without the community-based harassment, and you would not even know that anything that you're enduring through it that's being intentionally covertly managed is being done through the crime of gang stalking or is being done intentionally. So the reason I brought that up is because many victims over the years, once they become open, gang stalking victims, once the crime itself starts really massively being intentionally criminally perpetrated against you in every aspect of your life, especially the community-based harassment connected to gang stalking, you definitely then notate that something's being intentionally done towards you and your life, and that there's no way it could be happening by accident. Because remember, a huge aspect of gang stalking, some of the biggest aspects of this crime concerning some of their main motivations, is brain entrainment, and that's what the vast majority of the community-based harassment is all about, is brain entrainment. Now, this video is not about exposing to you what that means, or explaining it to you, or educating yourself about it, but I wanted to make that footnote concerning it, so you'll understand that when you do your research concerning this crime, and you might first stumble across a lot of exposures that show victims being harassed out and about in the community and where they live. You might just think that a group of people have gotten together and decided to pick on and harass a person. You might see blog exposures that state that it seems like the main goal is to run the victim out of the community. They do run victims out of the community, but it's not because of anything the victim's doing at all. And trust me when I say, when I continue to make my videos, you're going to understand that statement, because I actually need to expand on that a little bit. Because that when you see those types of statements online concerning this, the exposures of this crime, what you need to understand is that 99, I'd say at least through my extensive research since June 9, 2009, the day I discovered gang stalking online by its name, I know I have concluded that at least 95% of all victims are completely innocent victims. And even if you're a criminal who's enduring this crime, you shouldn't be enduring it. Because this crime is nothing but organized crime for organized crime motivations. So why would you pick a criminal for organized crime motivations pertaining to those other targets? Well, because they basically, more than likely, want to end up exploiting them. There's a lot of crimes connected to gang stalking. I can't get off into all this and all these other sub-details, because then I won't be getting to the subject matter. But let me put it to you this way. If you can take somebody who's been known to break into homes, stealing cars, rape, and stuff like that, if you can brain train somebody like that and use neural weaponry on them, then you can keep them repeating those crimes in order to make them a inmate for the privately owned detention centers, the prison industrial complex. It's racketeering. So I believe that that's the main reason why the people who have stated that they committed a crime and now they're being gang stalked. Okay, you should also know and understand this as well. The neural technology connected to gang stalking can absolutely 1000% completely neurally influence people to commit crimes. Now, trust me when I say, if you don't know nothing about gang stalking at all, and you don't know nothing about the neural weaponry connected to this crime, you might be thinking to yourself, there's no way anything like that could occur. This woman sounds crazy. I'm out of here. Well, obviously, that's your choice, sweetheart. But let me tell you something right now. When you create this account, when you watch my exposures, when you research my descriptions, you're not only going to see it completely, literally, but you're never then going to see this insane worldview that you currently see it again, ever. That is no exaggeration and it's no underestimation. Literally. Let me give you a case in point concerning that. When you research this crime and you see targets saying that they're victims of mind control, you might say, okay, I'm out of here. I've had enough of this. This sounds too crazy to believe. This isn't a subject matter that interests me. Really? Well, then go to Google and research remote neural monitoring, voice to skull with voice morphine, okay, neural weaponry, okay, and gang stalking, and then you're going to understand. You're going to completely understand, okay? So let me tell you something right now, my fellow American citizens. Gang stalking is the largest reported crime online, but it's the least known. And I've already mentioned in other prior videos, so I'll make one last statement and then zip this and then zip these statements up so I can segue into the subject matter. Let me help you understand something about the internet. We all know that, say if you went to an electronics store and bought a computer, right? And before you went to the store and bought a computer, you used your phone or another computer to set up a Gmail account, an email account that you've never used before. Okay? Yeah. So, if you set up an email account on a computer that you've never used before, on a phone that you've never used before, then that phone or computer is not going to have no search history on it. It's not going to have nothing on it. It's just going to have, just like when you go to a store and you buy a phone and you set up an email account, if you set up a brand new email account to that phone that you've never used before on a computer or any other electronic device that has no search history or no other accounts attached to it, then what am I basically saying? So consider this. If you went to a store and you bought a brand new computer, a laptop or desktop, and then you put on it a email account that has no emails whatsoever, that didn't come from any other electronic device that had any type of search history or other accounts connected to it, then what that computer is going to do is when you bring up Google and YouTube and Facebook and anything else, you're going to basically get from the internet only things that are trending, current news topics, current exposures concerning like world affairs and stuff like that, and you're going to and basically, when you bring up YouTube, you might just get stuff that's put on YouTube generally. Now here's what the point I'm trying to make here. When we use search engines, a lot of times we will only find on the internet what is trending, what's currently being reported in local and national news, sports, stuff like that. Okay? When you bring up Google on a brand new device that has no prior history, search history, or no prior accounts connected, or no accounts connected to it that's got prior search histories, you're never going to stumble across gang stalking ever unless it's reported in the news and then just by happen chance, extreme happen chance, you accidentally run across the article. Why? Because the internet brings back to you what you type in. Okay? Now, so since gang stalking has only been covered on the national news a couple times, when Aaron Alexis did the Navy Yard shooting, and when Myron May did the Florida University shooting, and it's been covered marginally on local news broadcasts in several states. But the day you go on the internet with a brand new computer like this, and you don't see any of those exposures, how are you going to discover gang stalking in order to know that gang stalking is the largest reported crime on the internet? Because the internet brings back to you what you type in, and then when you type in, like, say, German chocolate cake, and then maybe you type it in again, then when you bring up Google on the third time, you might start seeing ads on the right and left column about recipes and German chocolate cake and stuff like that. That's how the internet works. So if you're not familiar with the term gang stalking, organized stalking, and you bring up the internet, how are you ever going to find out about it? That's why I suffered this crime, through this crime from 2000, mid 2002. It was in full blown escalation by mid 2003 up to 2009. That's why I suffered from it horrifically, which I still suffer from it horrifically without having a name concerning it. Because the internet, you know how I discovered gang stalking online on June 9, 2009? I went to Google and I typed in at Google corrupt mental health and the government. And every single blog that came up was about gang stalking. And so I brought like 5 blogs up, and I could relate to at least 90% of everything that was on the homepage, let alone the links and everything. Okay? So the reason why I brought that up is because gang stalking is a literal epidemic in America. It's literally an epidemic. And you're not going to know about it unless you stumble across it or you hear about it through word of mouth, or if you happen to run across a very just by happen chance an older news broadcast concerning, local news broadcast concerning it, or maybe possibly, maybe if it got covered last week and it might still be online, that's the only time you're going to be able to discover it. So how are you going to know it's an epidemic? And if you don't know that it's going on, then how are you going to know about the weapons connected to gang stalking? See, so I wanted to include that because those types of things need to be. Imagine experiencing an extremely horrific crime. Imagine being human trafficked. Imagine being made homeless and tortured and not having and subject to sick, satanic, hostile, and even vile community-based harassment and assaults without having a name in order to understand that what you're enduring is a program so you can educate yourself more about this crime, because you can become somewhat educated through experience. But if you don't have the name of the crime, then you won't know that you won't know who's the main implicated host, which are the NSA, CIA, DOD, DIA, DHS, FBI, state, county, and local police, fusion centers, and more. You know, if you're a gang stalker victim, you don't know that these are some of the main implicated entities to be hosting this crime by tens of thousands of people, then you might one day, through your duress from the torture and everything else you're enduring through this crime, might walk into a police department and say, hey, look, I got 50 different strangers following me and they're engaged in bizarre activity. Well, you're not going to know that that police department's already been notified about you going in, and they're going to be told what to do against you before you get there. So you see, not knowing the name of this crime is extremely dangerous, because through the educated knowledge you get from the internet, okay, is going to help you understand it better. It's going to help you to know what to look out for. It's going to definitely help to protect you. And then you take that educated knowledge and you fold it and synthesize it in with your experience. Okay, now right now I'm packing in order to get ready to move, because this crime made me homeless from 4 apartments in Michigan and 1 in Tennessee. I've reported this crime several times to the FBI in Michigan. They didn't give a flying fuck and still don't to this date. In fact, I even reported to the FBI that I'm being gang stalked out here in San Diego back in 2012. They didn't give a shit. They don't give a shit about any victim who's being gang stalked. They could care less. Absolutely. Okay? And the police don't give a shit at all. So Google the FBI and the police to gang stalking, and the other aforementioned descriptions that I just stated about a minute ago. So if you should also research neighborhood watch and gang stalking, community-based harassment and gang stalking, community-based gang stalking, community notifications and gang stalking, universities, libraries, all businesses that you can think of concerning business types, and even well-known franchises. Like, you know, just as an example concerning what I mean by franchises, let's say Walmart, Arby's, Burger King, McDonald's, any well-known bank, post offices, coffee shops. Okay, Google the hell grocery stores. Just Google all my statements to gang stalking. Now, when you research this crime, you're going to run across a lot. If you don't know anything about it at all, you're going to run across a lot of descriptions. You're going to say, "I can't see what this victim's trying to say. That they're stating they're enduring. I don't understand it." Just keep researching it, and then when you start to really dig deep into it with a mature, patient posture, you're going to say, okay, now I understand why this person was saying I'm being harassed at Starbucks by people putting their hands to their face. That's dedicated to the sensitization method of gang stalking. Why people are saying threats around me, or repeating private information that only I know. That's the direct conversation method connected to covert surveillance, which is how they get the information, then share it with other people, and then they get along your route and regurgitate it. That's the direct conversation method. Dark neolinguistic programming is where they'll get around you and repeat threats about your finances, your health, your property, making you homeless included, which is what they massively did to me before they made me homeless. And then after they made me homeless, they engaged in a long, long campaign of threatening to have me arrested for being homeless. Because fear injection is needed, and all that's connected to brain entrainment. Now, there's many videos dedicated to this account that openly show me detailing what brain entrainment is. Okay, hold on. The main thing that brain entrainment is connected to concerning this crime is remote neural monitoring. Okay, you also need to go to Google and YouTube and research extensively electromagnetic weapons, directed energy weapons, ultrasonic sound bone conduction torture, the microwave hearing effect. What else do we got? Infrasound, ultrasonic sound, bone conduction, voice to skull with voice morphine, remote neural monitoring. These remote technologies are being used to literally sadistically, slowly kill victims through slow kill torture. Hold on a second. So, I want you to listen to my statements, my follow-up statements, very carefully. When you research the type of weapons that I just mentioned a second ago to gang stalking, you're going to see the testimony of tens of thousands of Americans literally stating they're being tortured in their own homes every day. Now, when you look at the physical proximity of the interior of your home, when you look at the physical proximity of the interior of where you work, well, there's many different types of things that's reported that these sadistic horrors are using in order to make sure that they can force and affect this technology on the human brain and biological systems. Meaning that, but not limited to, emitters, transmitters, antennas, covert bugging equipment like cameras and audio surveillance. Anything that they might need that acts as an in-between technology, emitters, antennas, and so on, transmitters, sensors, any in-between technology that they would need that would ensure the perpetration of how the directed energy weapons and the other weapons I just mentioned reach the victim can easily be put in anybody's home. I've seen the massive testimonies about it over the years at YouTube, Google, and more. Okay? People finding emitters in their walls and in the most upper rooms of their homes. In the floorboards. Okay? Cameras being found hidden in the drywall of closet doors. Okay? So just, research my statements. Now, the reason why I brought that up is because when you look at, I don't know, obviously I don't know who's going to be watching this video on any given date, but when you look at these, when you research these statements, sit back and look at your home. Okay, so let me just kind of, hold on a second. Because I'm packing while I'm talking to you, so I gotta still try and get my work done while I'm talking to you. So let's assume you're a single female and you're being targeted through gang stalking, whether you're aware that what you're enduring is gang stalking or not. The main red flag for all human beings that they're being subject to a crime that's being intentionally perpetrated, including continually, is the community-based harassment. Because community-based harassment is needed for the entrainment. The only way you can achieve entrainment is by forcing the victim to notice identical behaviors. Okay? So that's the red flag. That's how victims start to say, okay, something's obviously being managed here, something's obviously being orchestrated and managed and intentionally affected upon me. Okay? But let's say you're a victim of this crime and you don't know anything about gang stalking and you're not yet enduring the community-based gang stalking connected to gang stalking, right? So if you don't know about gang stalking and you wake up in the middle of the night with an extreme migraine or extreme pain in your abdomen, how are you going to know that that's being done to you through the program of gang stalking, through directed energy weapons and electromagnetic weapons and so on and so forth? How are you going to know that? Okay? You're not. Your body's going to be telling you that you don't feel good, but how are you going to know the reason for it? Right? So let's say you're a single woman and you're enduring this crime. You're enduring these technologies. And let's say that you got, okay, so you got an apartment. So you got one room. You got a living room. You got a bathroom. You got a hallway that goes back and forth to each of these rooms. You got a kitchen. And you got a storage room. Well, these little satanic horrors are massively widely reported to enter your homes when you're not home, including when you're sleeping too, literally. Go to YouTube and type in Stockton, San Antonio. Go to YouTube and type in gang stalking bullying on steroids. Go to YouTube and type in San Diego mother thinks she's a victim of community stalking. Okay? Those are just 3 of many local news broadcasts concerning this crime. You should also know this crime has been repeatedly covered on national radio shows on different dates, different national radio shows, including ones I've been on. Okay? So, if you got one bedroom, one living room, one bathroom, one kitchen. Alright, so I said bathroom, bedroom, living room, and kitchen, and then the hallways that connect these rooms, and then you got a few closets and maybe a storage room. The perpetrators will literally enter your home while you're gone, but they will also enter your home when you're sleeping, including for drug rapes. Literally. That's how bad this crime is. So, when you look at the area of the house when you look at the 4 corners of the 4 corners of the entire interior of that apartment, when you go from corner to corner and then from corner to corner and then back again, that's square footage. So the perpetrators will enter your fucking home and they've been notated to take over 100 pictures of where you got everything orientated at. Where's your bed at? Where's your desk at? Where's your cupboards at? Okay, where's your stove at? Where's your bathroom at? Where's the toilet at in the bathroom? Okay, where's your couch at in your living room? Okay, what closet do you put what clothes in? Now, they do this so they can get an idea how often you're going to be at specific spots in these rooms when you're engaged in identical behaviors. You identically lay down in your bed every night in the same spot where the bed's at, all right? You identically stand in the same spot where your stove's at to cook. You identically go back and forth from the cupboard to the refrigerator to the stove. Where's the sink at where you wash dishes? Okay, where's your office chair at in front of your desk? Where's the desk at? Where's the closet at that you go and get your clothes to put on to go to work? Where's the toilet at? Where's the shower at? Okay, where's the mirror at in the bathroom where you brush your teeth and put on your makeup? Okay, now the reason why they need to know these exact spots is because they know you're going to frequent these spots more often than the other spots in your home. Because when they're hitting you with directed energy weapons and electromagnetic weapons and some of the other technology, hold on. They want to be able to determine. Some victims are put on automated systems. Some victims are put on, are hit in real time by live individuals. Some victims, because they'll rent apartments next to victims. Google that. Directly across, above, next to, and below. Okay? So if you got a victim that's enduring this, they can just run an apartment directly next door and set up a fucking directed energy weapon and then just have it go off when certain sensors, floor sensors, go off. Okay? When certain sounds are made, like the sounds you make when you close your cupboard door. Okay, and then the sensors, and there's a whole bunch of different technologies that's reported these wild whores are using that assist them in knowing where you're at when you're put on an automated system. But make no mistake about it, you should also research neighbors and gang stalking. They're widely reported to be assisting in the directed energy perpetration, which is about 19 different platforms of modes of operation concerning directed energy weapons and electromagnetic weapons. So if they know the entire parameter of your home, they're gonna know where you stand at for longer periods of time, ratio to where you might stand at just for a second to maybe go and grab some lotion or to grab your phone. Okay, because This, from what I understand, you can walk in and out of the field of remote neural monitoring within 10 seconds. Okay? And remote neural monitoring plays a huge role in all of this as well. It's directly, intimately connected to it, including the direct energy weapons usage, but I ain't got time to go into all that. Hold on. So imagine you say to yourself, okay, you go to the grocery store and you buy a steak, you buy some potatoes, and you buy the mixings for a salad. Okay, so they know when you go home, because they'll even stalk you to the grocery store, or they'll even get in line behind you in the checkout lane, Google all my statements, so they can see what you're buying. If you're being remotely nearly monitored, they can hear through your ears and see through your eyes and much more. So they can see what you're buying. So they're just taking that information. They're saying, okay, well, she's buying all this stuff. That means she's going to be in the kitchen for an extended period of time, ratio to the amount of time it would take to open up a can of chili and cook it. So we'll set up the directed energy weapon, say if a live person is targeting her instead of an automated system, or she could be targeted by both. And so the live person is then contacted and said, okay, she's going to be in the kitchen for at least an hour and a half. So they'll target the hell out of her with directed energy weapons at different levels. Sometimes they'll hit her with large levels, sometimes medium to large, sometimes with just medium. And that way the body absorbs it for the entire time the victim is in the kitchen. Same thing if you go to the bathroom while you're on the toilet. Boom. While you're in the shower, you're staying in the shower for at least a half hour, right? 15, 20 minutes, half hour, right? Boom. When you're in bed, 9 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours, whatever. Okay? So they come into your apartment and they take a look at where every fucking thing is at. They take a look at the square footage of it. You should also research how they will work in concert and collusion with property owners and landlords, fellow tenants. These are mass murdering, sadistic, demented, depraved animals. It's all they fucking are and it's all they'll ever be. So just research my statements. Okay? And you should also know it's also widely reported in tens of thousands of posts, including books being written about it, including the fact that the following subject I'm getting ready to bring up here in a second is also widely reported, that implants are being put throughout the brain and biological systems of victims, and these implants conduct electricity. So imagine being electronically shocked in your entire brain. Imagine waking up with a cooked brain and a migraine. Google all my descriptions. Exactly, specifically, extensively. Now, I'm getting ready to move from this area. I have moved now over 28 times in 2.5 years. Yesterday, I was hit with directed energy weapons to the head, face, and throat, and abdomen and chest over 65 times in one day. And while I was enduring this, I was enduring extremely high levels of ultrasonic sound bone conduction. I brought up my ultrasound app and took 2 120-second readouts and took snap screenshots from it. I sent them to my email account and attempted to put them on Twitter, and it got stopped. So they're in my email right now, probably still in my outbox because, well, cell phone targeting, hacking, manipulation of settings, cell phone hacking, cell phone jamming is all over the internet to be massively widely reported to be done through this crime. Hold on one second, my bird's here. I'm going to feed her. Come here, baby. So if they can limit your exposures on the internet, censorship is one of the biggest crimes reported through this crime. And so they get online and they hack into your online exposures, they hack into your computers or phones in order to limit and stop your exposures, to force you to repeat the descriptions of your victimization, and that's done for brain entrainment, believe it or not. Yeah, when you gotta constantly repeat the description of your own victimization, your brain is processing it, and that's auditory brain entrainment because your brain is hearing your own inner voice describe your victimization. Okay? Absolutely. That's part of the auditory brain entrainment. Auditory and visual brain entrainment are some of the two biggest motives connected to this fucking crime. Okay? Oh, absolutely. So these sick, wild whores will go to any and all lengths to censor you, including buying through the neurological weapons connected to gang stalking, which includes remote neural monitoring, voice to skull with voice morphing, uh, interrupting the thought process of gang stalking victims through those technologies, and memory blanking. Research all my descriptions. So I'm getting ready to move again. Now, yesterday I made a video, and that I already know that video produced massive evidence, because when you hit me in the head and face and throat with the levels that they hit me with for the time duration they hit me with, It causes the non-consensual remote neural monitoring islands implants that were put in my eyes non-consensually. I had no memory of how they got there at all. Okay, it causes they're called biofilm light crystal ocular implants, remote neural monitoring interfaces with them. Now, I just made a video about an hour ago and exposed them. I'm sorry, and talked about them and showed some printouts that show them from the printouts from a live Periscope video. You can also go into this YouTube account you're watching this video through and go immediately to the September 2nd uploads. And these islands implants have also been shown from video printouts and from snap screenshots from my other phone when I made prior other videos, and at least 20 videos dedicated to this account. So you'll see them. And when you see them, your jaw is literally going to drop flat out. Okay? So what you need to understand about gang stalking is that it doesn't matter. They can target you with this technology when you're at a bus stop, when you're walking down the street, when you're inside of any establishment, anywhere, anytime, and your home. Okay? So I'm getting ready to move again because I'm getting ready to employ a new hiking strategy. So I'm going to show you something right here. I'm going to show you my bike. Bear with me a second. Okay, so the staged vehicle accidents in Michigan have caused me to lose my car, Google all my statements. So here's my bike. And now this bike is almost brand new. It's less than a year old, and I keep it in perfect condition. These are my back. It looks a little bit congested right now because I got some stuff on it. These are my back pannier saddlebags that are on the bike. Okay, and then one flat one that goes with it on the top. And they're going to be packed up day after tomorrow, and I'm going to be leaving this area. Okay, I wanted to leave it by today, but the targeting of me was so heavy yesterday, I spent a good portion of the day just trying to protect myself, and I wasn't in a position to leave the property because I had too much property out by the time the targeting started. And I had too much stuff to do for prep work to move. So I had to endure it. So we're going to see if this bike gets targeted concerning the theft of it or the mutilation of any function of it, from head to toe, any function of it, including the bike lock. Go to Google, and at Google, when you research at Google how gang stalking victims are stating as a direct result of remote neural monitoring being used on them, the perpetrators are able to ascertain their bank account PIN numbers in order to liquidate their bank accounts. So if you can ascertain a bank account PIN number through remote neural monitoring, do you honestly think that they cannot determine what the combination lock is of my bike? And that includes not being able to unlock it when it's locked up on any date, at any wooded area, or anywhere along my routes, or it being stolen, or any function of the bike being damaged. So research how they target cars and property of the victims, and they've already stole one bike and have mutilated at least 4 other ones out here in San Diego since 2011. We're going to see if I get arrested for illegal lodging, trespassing, or encroachment. We're going to see if any of my property that is left behind and cleverly hidden on this property is stolen. Let me show you a tree here real fast, okay, that I got to leave behind before I come back and get it, and property that's hidden at other areas. So we're going to see if they prop up any homeless people to hang out, camp out, hike out, anywhere within 1,000 feet of anywhere I got property hidden at, or anywhere I'm camping at permanently now for all wooded areas. I got to go. Everybody have a good day. I'll talk to you later. I got to go.